This is an urgent message for all individuals with extremely large credit card debt. No matter how much you owe, the company that has settled more credit card debt than anyone in the U.S. can settle your debt too, while you make one low monthly program payment. You now have the opportunity to hear how low your monthly program payment could be for free. To find out how much you could save, call Freedom Debt Relief 1-800-928-1065, 1-800-928-1065, 1-800-928-1065.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good afternoon, everyone in the world. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Please fill out with the right time zone for you. I am calling live from Honolulu, Hawaii, and here it's 3 p.m. at the moment. My name is Sarah Stuart. You can find me easily on the internet. I have a website that you can find, and the address to cruise around is www.sarahstuart.com. Stuart has double T at the end. So you can check it out. You can also find me on Facebook. I have a page, and I also have a personal page in which I connect with all these awesome people. And one of the most beautiful people that I know from Facebook is my guest today. I am very, very happy to interviewing this beautiful lady. She has a positivity about her that I do believe everybody can see, feel, and connect and actually touch. She posts lots of wonderful personal quotes on Facebook and on her pages. She goes to Costa Rica. She swims with dolphins. She has made amazing things in her life. But I am not the right person to tell you about those things, and that is why Sierra is here with us today. So she is the one who speaks about her accomplishments in life, her life path, and also her beliefs and her positive outlook for life. Sierra, where are you?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine. Sierra, I'm so glad that I'm connecting with you and that I'm hosting this show, making you questions. I'm really excited because I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
Thank you. I do believe and I do envision that this call will be very positive because we are both very bubbly. So for everyone who is listening, if we get too bubbly, you can easily chat with us or just call. Oh, by the way, before I start asking Sierra for some questions, I have to tell you, dear listeners, that if you have questions that you would like to ask to Sierra, the number that you can call at any time is 818-691-7374, 818-691-7374, and I will just put you on air and you can ask your questions or say your suggestions or requests on air. Also, we have a chat room that you can easily type your question. Okay, let's start. Sierra, first of all, thank you so much for accepting. I'm really glad that you are here. I think you are a wonderful person and capable of amazing things. And I have lots of questions to make to you today. And one of them will be about the weather, because I keep on reading that you actually changed the weather in California. Is that true?
Oh, my God, Sarah. You're going to start out with that?
You know why? I'm going to tell you why, because I'm a meteorologist, so when I read those things about the weather, I'm like, oh, my God, I want to know about this.
Well,
how did that happen?
Let's just say I in my universe, I change the weather. I can change the weather. I mean, I've had moments where, I don't like to say I like earthquakes because people get upset, but I do like earthquakes. I like to feel. I grew up in California, and I felt many of them, and it's just I can feel the earth, like shifting, not like the actual movement, but like a breath, like like a relief of tension, and it's the whole feeling around it. And so, I mean, there's been a few times, and I have some friends as witnesses that. One time I was actually visiting here in California, where I am now. I live in Costa Rica, and there was earthquakes in Costa Rica, and I was, sorry that I missed it. So I was telling my friend, like in detail how much I like earthquakes and kind of what I just told you about with, passion, yeah. And like a half hour later, we had an earthquake in California.
Oh
now,
my
I'm not
God.
saying I did it, but, in my universe I did, with my appreciation for earthquakes. And things like that have happened before. With blue lightning, one time I was, like, describing blue lightning. I did this whole thing about blue lightning one night, and the power. And I sent an email message to a friend of mine with a picture of blue lightning. And as I hit send, this is in Costa Rica, not even a few feet out my door, a blue lightning struck, like.
Oh my God! Oh my goodness! And for people who are around, you must be amazing. You must be like, how did you do that?
Yeah, some people don't want to hang out with me too much.
No, because you like earthquakes, right?
Yeah. Well, no, but and with the clouds, like sometimes I can make shape with the clouds with my thoughts. So. We're all one. It's all one. Like, like with astrology, I used to not pay attention to it because, besides the silly stuff it says in the paper that applies to everybody, right? But at some point in the last year, I guess, I realized that the stars and the planets are me. We're all one. They can't be moving without affecting me. So I started to pay more attention to it, because we're all one and we're all, the clouds up there. I always think of the clouds as thought forms, and so I don't know, Sarah. I'm not going to claim to be a weather shifter, but some people might say I am.
I know. Well, I do believe you, because I'm like you. I think that we are all one, and all doesn't mean only humankind. Everything on the earth is a part of the earth, and so we are all connected, even the atmosphere and the clouds and the waves. And so when people tell me, well, the sea was flat and then I made some waves and I rode them, I actually believe it because I do believe it's possible. So I just thought it was very funny that your status sometimes it's like, I'm sorry, Californians, because it's like raining or something, and I asked for rain. I just think
sometimes I'm kind of joking, sometimes I'm not. That the hurricane, I don't remember the name of it, that was coming towards New York recently, like 6-7 months ago, whatever. It was like the whole East Coast was so afraid, and there was so many people focusing on it missing. And it did, it took all these weird turns and never hit the East Coast. It was like everyone was evacuating, and it was crazy, and, it took all these turns and never hit. And when it was supposed to go right towards it. And that's I think is an example of, the collective being able to shift.
Yes, I do believe that, and I do remember about that hurricane, and I was actually here praying as well, so nothing bad would
Everybody was, it was such a collective thing.
Yes,
that's
and
why,
it was wonderful.
I'm sorry, hon, what?
Okay. It was wonderful because I was seeing all these people connected all through the world, and on Facebook it was really intense. And then after a while, I really did feel that nothing was going to happen just because we were sending so much positivity that it couldn't. Yes, it couldn't happen. So, Sierra, tell me about your miracles in life. I'm going to start. Your bio says that how can I say, my eyes were wide open when I read this, and I was, oh, my God. Have you lost 170 pounds?
I did lose 170 pounds. Then I gained a bunch back, and now I lost it again.
So how did you do it?
Well, it's a multifaceted thing, and I ended up writing an ebook, and I came up with an acronym for the word diet, and the D stands for desires and deservability, because I really looked at what I did. And the first was, getting really clear that I deserve to be thin, and that's really big. Worthiness is big, not just for overweight people, but for, a lot of people. Really feeling worthy of having everything that you desire. So part of it is feeling worthy and then getting clear about your desires. So the D is the first step that I did, the worthiness, the deservability, and the desires. And then the I stands for all those I things, intuition and inner guidance, really learning to be in tune with your body and, not going on all these fad diets, but really, asking what does my body need, and following that, and it's not going to be the same for everybody, which is why, I can't write a weight loss book that says follow this diet and you will get thin. I really want people to learn to focus on their own inner guidance and what will work for them. So that's the I, and then the E stands. What? I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. and then the E stands for emotions. Obviously emotional eating is big for people that eat too much or people that don't eat enough. So it's really getting in touch with your emotions. And by the way, this acronym doesn't just serve for weight loss. As you can see from what I'm saying, it really applies to anything in your life.
Everything.
So,
yes.
The E and the emotions, you really learn to be the observer, and not have it be, not go into your usual robot mode of doing things like you always do it, but, not being afraid of what comes up, because all the things that we don't deal with, and hide because we're afraid of feeling it is really affecting us every single day anyway. So it's so much easier to just, let the feelings come up and feel them, and then they dissipate. It's, to feel your feelings is really good, even when you're angry and mad or whatever, to really feel it, and then it dissipates. It's that long-term simmering anger and fear that really brings us down. People are afraid to feel mad. They think they're not supposed to ever be mad, and they feel bad when they're mad, and then it gets worse. It comes into this big circle of feeling bad because you're mad and feeling bad because you feel bad because you feel bad. You know what I mean? And
yes.
It's so much easier to just to feel it. And I used to think that you had to get to the root, like find the situation that happened that caused it. But I don't really think that's true anymore. I mean, I'm finding that there's energy available to us and who the human being as a whole are becoming that we can shift quite easily. You don't have to spend years on a psychiatrist's couch, going through every little thing that ever happened to you. If you can find the feeling and shift it, or a situation that brings it up this time, you don't have to go to the first one. You can go, this makes me feel, and really learning to be the observer, the unemotional observer, observing you doing the human thing. And from that perspective, from the observer perspective, you can really start catching all that stuff. So that,
yes.
Yeah, and so that's the E, the emotions. It's so important with weight loss and with everything, to get to not be afraid of that, to feel it and heal it, And then,
yes. But I have a question about that, because you were mentioning something that I found very curious. I do understand what you are talking about, and I do agree with you. I think it's very important that people perceive that they are actually very capable, and more than that, that they are worthy of their success or happiness or wonderful relationship or their dreams, whatever they dream about. So that I do believe that's a very important point that you have mentioned. Lots of people don't feel that they deserve it. So they actually dream it, they want it, but then there is a part of them that feels, well, maybe people will not like me if I will have this much success in my career, so I better not have it. And it's unconscious. So many times we are not aware that we do have these lower energies within ourselves. And but the question that I was going to ask you was something that I found funny. Funny in a good way, of course. You said it's so much easier to go to the emotion. And here is my next question. I do know what you are talking about because I do think and I do feel that going to the emotions is very easy as well. But do you see that all around many people have difficulties in going to their emotions? Because once you find the secret to yourself, which can depend on the person that you are, of course, because we are all unique. But once you find your own secret, you can use it all the time. And the secret might change in time because you are constantly changing. But you use the word easier to go to the emotions. So why do you think that people don't do it often? Why do you think that people don't want to go to their emotions? Because if going to the emotions is the easiest way, why do we take the longest route?
Oh, because you didn't read the How to Be a Human manual that you were given when you were born. But people do take the long route, and it's like they're afraid to face whatever it is, face something in the past because of the pain and hurt. But the truth is that pain and hurt is affecting them every single day in their relationships and how they be in the world. So in resisting it persists. The old rule, what you resist persists. So if you had some painful experience in your childhood, say, and you don't want to deal with it because you're afraid of all the pain and all this, isn't that affecting you every day in how you don't get into relationships or get into bad relationships or how you are at your work? So in not facing it, it's still always there. It's, this cloud around you that's always there. When really, and I think a lot of people maybe don't have the right tools, because it's also not about going into a desperate, depression.
Yes.
You don't focus on the feeling. You don't like get lost in it. You feel it and release it. Yes, I felt really bad when such and such said this to me. That really hurt to me. And it's also getting to the core, because there's always a story around what happened. But the core is usually I didn't feel loved, I didn't feel safe, I didn't feel appreciated. There's like some basic core ones that it always is, and people get lost in the whole story. Well, he said this and she said la 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 la, and that has nothing to do with the core feeling of I didn't feel loved. So when you get to it's getting to the core. I mean, you can get lost in the story forever and make a lot of money for psychiatrists telling the story over and over and over, but until you get to the I didn't feel loved part, and then you go, well, that person that said whatever or did whatever to me, they weren't feeling love, and I allowed it to anyone that treats anyone with less than that, they are the ones that weren't feeling good. So we've allowed someone else's not feeling good to make us not feel good. Or we put their opinion or whatever they did over our own inner, knowing, our own guidance. So,
exactly.
Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead, please.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, and sometimes what's happening is that we are actually reflecting on the other person some deeper part of ourselves that we are not really aware or that we have not healed yet. because sometimes people have different ways of interacting, and so if someone tells us something, their intention might be good, but if it hits something in us that is not healed, we will react, and we will not perceive it as their intention is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no,
absolutely. I think that happens a lot with parents. Like, parents always say, I want the best for you. And when you think about their intention, of course, they are our parents. They love us. They want the best for us. But what they think the best is might not be what we think is. So there is a little bit of conflict, but we perceive it. We are not seeing it through their eyes. We are seeing it through our own eyes, and that's where the little conflict starts. That's a very good
for sure.
point.
You know, it's all about you know.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean how we see what someone says is always going to be filtered through our life experiences, you know. And that's why for me, you know, it's really about reading the vibration behind the words. You know, and I really practice that as much as possible. And sometimes I forget and I let words hook me in, you know. But, you know, someone might be saying, la, 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 to you, and what they're saying is, I'm hurt and scared. You know, so it's really, if you look beyond the words, you know, that's how I interact with people now. You know, it's really the only way to get the real story.
And Sierra, do you have like some story that you would like to share with all these people that you help, like something you feel has a deeper message, or something that has touched you in some different way?
Well, first let me get to I didn't finish the DIET acronym, and the T stands for thoughts, which, of course, is something I can talk about right now with your question, you know, our thoughts and how we get lost in our thoughts, and how we really, once again, the observer comes in, you know, when that on-running voice comes on, that's always in the background. When you become the observer, you start to observe what that voice is saying instead of just let it going on running and on running. You know, it's something you kind of touched on earlier about, you know, when people say one thing, but their true self is thinking, not their true self, their subconscious is thinking something else. And, you know, it's so true with the thoughts and the subconscious, you know, because, like, you can say affirmations all day long and write them and post them all over your mirror and read them. But if you read, you know, I am prosperous, and your voice says, no, you're not, you'll never be rich, you know, or whatever, you know, it's always defeating what you're trying to do with your good affirmations. And that's why, you know, sometimes people go, well, the affirmations don't work for me. And, you know, I always say, well, you're countering them somewhere. You know, there's somewhere where your thoughts, your subconscious is countering that. And, you know, sometimes it's not even subconscious. It's conscious, but you're unconscious. So you're not even hearing your conscious, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's just, you know, I would just say it's so important to watch your thoughts. And, you know, I had a situation at the beginning of in November with a couple that came to stay with me. And, you know, I'd made really clear what was expected and all of this before they came, and everything was great, and we emailed, and I used all my former experiences to be sure everything was super clear. And, you know, to make a really long, I won't go into everything, but to make a long story short, it just wasn't working out, you know, and I started, like, going on that, I can't say the F word on this, a mind screw, you know, when your mind just starts going, and I knew I was doing it, you know, but I was having a hard time stopping it because I was mad, you know, and I had to really, you know, like what I talked about earlier about getting to the core. Okay, what is the core here? Okay, I'm disappointed, you know, I'm this, I'm that, and I was able to to really get to the core of, and that helped me get out of and they did this and they did that and la la la, that whole running commentary. Because why do we ever do that? It doesn't get us anywhere. It holds us stuck exactly where we don't want to be. But I still find myself doing that from time to time. And this time, I think the universe, my guides, my angels, I just can't get away with anything anymore because, there was such a discord, because it was my own home and I was feeling uncomfortable, and that discord, the anger and being pissed off and walking around like that, and, I was running on my treadmill and I fell, and actually I scraped my ankle pretty good, because the belt was running, so I got like road rash on my ankle because often what will happen to me is when I'm not listening to the universe is I'll get painful manifestations. Like I'll fall or, one time I broke my ankle. One time I, fell in my bathroom. Like when I fall, when something happens to me physically, I know the universe is just like, hey, girl, listen.
Stop it.
So, we all do that. We all do the thought thing. We all, get on those run-on thoughts that we don't want to be thinking. And, I've just found methods basically getting to the core. Okay, what is the core of this, and what do I need to do? And, finally when I said, hey, you guys, this isn't working out, you got to go, everything just left my body, all the tension. As soon as I spoke my authentic truth, because I knew it from the first, maybe not the first day, from the first week I knew it wasn't going to work out. And in trying to make it work and have them be there while I was in California and what do I want to say? Settling. Yes. Settling. As soon as I started settling, the anger, that simmering anger that I was talking about earlier, instead of just really feeling it and expressing my authentic truth, I was letting it simmer. And, that's when we get into trouble, and that's when, just more stuff piles on top of it. So finally, at least after I fell, I was like, okay, I'm going to kill myself if I don't deal with this, And I did. I got to the core of what I was feeling, and the only option was to ask them to go, and I did. The relief and release came, and, that's how you do it. That's how I do it, at least.
I agree with you, and I think that everybody should always look for their own signs, because signs in the path might be different for everybody. So, for example, for you, that when you fall or when something happens when you are running on your treadmill or something, that something is not quite right in your universe, as you say it. So it's good to follow our own signs, because we are always connected with intuition, and if intuition is there, keep on sending a sign saying, it's better to stop now and make a choice. It's always better to listen to it than to do it. And I actually appreciated something that you were saying in the story that you shared, because you said you reached that point of clarity in which you knew what was not working, and so you could change it. And this is something that I always say to people, it's good to have clarity. And clarity many times happens when you take the story, when you take yourself out of the story and go to the observer mode. As you said before, when you go to the observer mode, you can see things clearly. And if you see them clearly, then you know what to do. So that's awesome. Sierra, I have to ask you, you live in Costa Rica, right?
I do.
Oh, my God. And tell me, do you swim with the dolphins all the time? Not all the time, but almost every time.
Not as much as I would like to or should. Well, it's been the rainy season lately, and I'm really spoiled at this point, and I'll go out on days where it's sunny and the ocean's flat. Because they're right there in my front yard, so I can walk down to the beach and see them, and so I don't have to be swimming. And they're with me always. They're with me here in California. They're chattering as we chatter along here. Always, there's dolphins. But I swim with them a lot, and not just in Costa Rica. I also do trips in Bimini, Bahamas, which is an amazing place to swim with the dolphins. And I also do swimming with whales in the Dominican Republic. So I have all those trips to take. I love to take other people because there's just no way to explain the feeling you get to be in the water with these amazingly intelligent beings that are just pure love, you know. And for me, I truly feel them as my family. You know, I feel one of them. And people have said that I've disappeared and turned into a dolphin. You know, they'll be watching and I disappear, and I don't know. I feel like I feel it. So I don't know. But yeah.
So people can go with you, right? To those.
What's that?
To those trips. People can go with you and swim with the dolphins with you.
On my site, divinedolphin.com, I have all the trips listed there. Costa Rica, you can come anytime. The Bimini trip this year I did on summer solstice 2012 for a reason.
Wow.
I've been to Bimini many times on the solstice. It's like the most powerful experience, and I decided this time not to do a workshop or like have any plans really. I just called it a human dolphin celebration because the last few times when like it was like a planned workshop, it never, you know, the timing, it just like never worked out how I thought it was going to. So this time I just decided we'll be, you know, in the moment, you know, we'll sing, we'll dance. You know, it's really, I don't want it to be like a heavy workshop or anything like that. I just want people to come and experience each other and experience the dolphins. So I'm really
lighter. Oh, that's wonderful. And for whoever wants to check it out, you can see it on Sierra's website. It's called Divine Dolphin, and you can check it out at www.divinedolphin.com. She also has another website that is called www.im-im-im.com. So 3 times IM, and you will get there. That's wonderful. You know, I love the sea, and I know that every time I connect with you, I feel that sea energy through you, that you are really like a sea soul. You love the sea, and you connect pretty well with the animals in the sea. Tell us about an awesome experience that you had when you go and swim with your dolphins, please.
Oh my gosh, which one? There's been so many. I guess. Well, I'll tell you about the first time I ever got into the water with them. I was so blown away. It was like a feeling of coming home that I've never experienced or experienced since like that. Like when I got out of the water, all I could do was sit on the bench at the back of the boat and just cry these tears of release because I knew it was the beginning of the rest of my life. You know, it was like, you're home now. You know, it's you know, and it certainly was a moment that changed my life forever. I'll never forget it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I do believe that when people go with you, they have all these amazing feelings because it's like if you connect with deeper parts of yourself or higher self or I don't know, it's awesome.
Well, the dolphins hold us in our higher self. You know, they look at you as your higher self. They don't see all the crap that's going along. They don't see if you're overweight or thin, or they don't see any of that. They just see the pure love being that you are, and you feel that. It's like when you meet a person that's like that, you know, that only sees love, and you can feel that. That's how the dolphins make you feel, and the whales. The whales are, you know, the whales are a whole different energy. That, you know, the dolphins are like the happy messengers, and the whales are like the deep, wise keepers of the information. You know, like deep.
Nice.
So both experiences are incredible.
Nice. You know, I love turtles. Here in Hawaii, there is the Hawaiian turtle, and if I go swimming or snorkeling and I see one, I feel so happy. They are just so pretty. Are the whales very big? Like, are they scary or something? Like in the
Well,
size?
they're big, like a bus, but
Oh my goodness.
like I don't find it scary at all. Not even the least bit, because they know exactly where their body is. They know exactly where you are. I mean, I've been in the water with whales like hundreds of times and I've even swam with wild orcas. People think I'm crazy, but they're
Really? Wow.
yeah. So it's not a scary experience at all. It's so deep and incredible to be eye to eye. And if you go onto my Facebook page, and also I have a Divine Dolphin Facebook page too, I have videos, and I have video from the last trip that I took, and we had this amazing encounter with a mom and baby humpback that they just stayed with us for, we ended up leaving. They were just amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
It's not scary, hon. You got to come do it.
Oh, yeah, I want to. But you are a magical person, and I do believe that the animals feel that. Everyone is magical. I just think that you exercise it a little bit often, more often than others, so you become this magical being. Sierra, I have this question. It's very personal because I'm afraid of them. Have you ever seen a shark?
Yes, I've seen a shark. By the island in Costa Rica, we have lots of like nurse sharks and white-tipped sharks and that kind of thing. I've seen a mako shark jump out of the water. I've seen hammerhead sharks in Costa Rica. But it's very rare that they attack people, and when they do, it's surfers that look like a seal on a surfboard. They're actually extremely intelligent, and but where we swim with dolphins, there's not sharks. There's
oh, that's wonderful. That's good.
Yeah, the dolphins will keep them away. The dolphins keep them away. When there's lots of dolphins, the sharks actually go, because the dolphins can kill sharks. They butt them with their nose. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow, that's awesome. And Sierra, I know that you have posted quite a lot about the law of attraction some time ago, and I would like to know what is your perception about the law of attraction, and how would you explain it to someone who doesn't know about it?
Well, I think the law of attraction is one of the universal laws, and definitely not the only one. I don't think. I think we live in an attraction-based universe. I see evidence. I go by the evidence I see in my life, and I know that what I think about, more comes. I know what I'm vibrating, that comes to me. If I'm vibrating love, more love comes to me. If I'm angry, I see angry people around me. In the evidence, it's obvious that, I learned about it, about 25 years ago under another, name. The lady, the spiritual teacher I learned it from, she called it the law of love, that God loves us, so we're able to attract, we're in control of what we attract to us, that we're in control. We get the life we want because we are able to attract, so we can attract, bad things or good things, and we have control over that. So in that sense, the law of attraction is absolute. For me, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, I think I walked too far from the phone thingy. Oh, I know. There's a call coming in. Okay. Anyway, the law of attraction. So I also think that there's something bigger than that, and that is the law of the highest good. Because, sometimes I think that we don't know maybe what our highest good is. Like, we're thinking car. I want a red convertible. and something like our inner being, our higher self knows that isn't for the highest good, so we'll never be a match to it. Like, we can think it all we want, but we don't have the true essence and passion because there's something in us that knows that isn't for our highest good. You know what I'm saying? Like the law of attraction is absolute, but we don't always attract what we want because there's something stopping it, you know. And I think the grander plan, you know, like I can't possibly know the broadest perspective, you know. So I always, when I ask for things, I say this or something better. I say this or my highest good. You know, I don't get so stuck on the things and having it have to be a certain way, because there's an energy that knows more than me. You know, I don't want to be like.
Yes, that's a wonderful way to putting it, because that's exactly what I feel as well. And sometimes, you know, that saying that Richard Bach had, and he used to say, "Be careful with what you wish, because it will come true." And sometimes we wish things, and they are not really for our, we think they are for our highest good, but for some reason they keep not happening, and maybe our call was a little bit, you know, on the other side or something. So then something happens in life and everything starts working, and we are, oh, and I love this. This is actually what I am. And so it seems that there was a highest energy, a highest self over there all the time saying, hey, this is not working for a reason. You just have to listen.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, well, you know, when things aren't going the way that I asked for them, I know, you know, I let it go. You know, things are easy. When you're lined up and, you know, everything's a go, it's easy. And, you know, like I've asked for things in the past that haven't happened, and, you know, with the benefit of time and broader perspective, now I understand why that thing didn't happen. You know, so I never, like, get stuck on a certain thing. Like, I'll tell the universe, I want this, and if I don't start seeing evidence, I go, okay, not for my highest good, next. You know, instead of, like, being stuck on that thing and, like, forcing it to happen.
Yes. I do understand what you're saying. That's beautiful. And, Sierra, what is one tool that you think most people can apply, like when they are stuck in a story or when they are feeling some deep emotional swirling or something? I know that everybody is different and everybody has their own tools, but what do you think that would be an easy tool to use that people can remind to snap out of it?
Yeah, you know, for me, it just kind of depends on the situation. You know, I've got a great circle of friends that I can go to, you know, that we understand, you know, that we don't always have to be this perfect human being, and sometimes, you know, we allow a bitch session or whatever, and that it really helps to say it out loud, just say it out loud to somebody else, you know. I find that really beneficial. You know, sometimes I just send, you know, if I'm having those run-on thoughts, I send them off to the clouds. You know, the whole observer thing, you know, when, you know, like literally see yourself stepping back out of your life and becoming, you know, the observer of the broader perspective. Like watch yourself doing the human thing, you know, and that really helps me to kind of snap out of it. So, you know, and then there's always things, there's like things like EFT, which is really beneficial, emotional freedom techniques, the tapping. There's lots of stuff out there, and, you know, I don't really like to recommend any one thing because you know, people will find their thing that they like. There's lots of tools, you know, Ho'oponopono, which is pretty much just like releasing all, you know, taking responsibility. You know, there's lots of great stuff out there for people to shift. The key is to shift.
Thank you. Sierra, how do you think the world evolving? Do you think that we are the ones changing and the world is pretty much the same, or do you think that everybody's changing and people are tuning more and more into positivity? How do you feel all these changes and what's happening?
Well, I definitely see an awakening happening. You know, when I really got into, well, I did the S training. I don't know if you know what the S training is. I did that when I was 13 years old. So I've had this kind of thought kind of process, really even before that. But, I was alone for a long time. And the Internet helped, too, to connect with other people. I'm sure that's part of it, too, is meeting other like-minded people. But there was a long time that I really didn't have people around me that thought like me. And now there's tons. There's a lot. Having said that, whenever I come into the city, in Costa Rica, I've got, a few friends around, and, I've got all the people on the Internet, and I can pretty much pick and choose who is around me. And when I come to California and, start going to stores, especially at Christmas time, and I see that there's really a lot of people that are still really sleeping. and, there's a part of me that when I come here, I just go, oh, God. But on the whole, yes, we are evolving. we are awakening, and, we're not separate from the world. I mean, it's not one or the other. Our planet is evolving, too. As she always has, whether we're here or not. But, yeah, people are waking up for sure.
And how do you envision 2012 to be? Because I don't know, everybody talks a lot about 2012. How do you feel that it will be? And it's going to be here pretty soon.
Yeah, it's going to be here really soon. I definitely don't see apocalypse, and I think it'll be, like 11/11/11. There was definitely a shift on that day, and whether it's because so many people believed there'd be a shift, then there was a shift. It's the people's focus. And I always say, the big day is going to be the 22nd of December 2012, when everyone sees we're still alive, and there's this collective, sigh of relief. We're still here.
Thunder,
and,
yes.
Like the day after. I think that's going to be the day of the shift, when everyone's like, oh, we made it through. I think there's something to the dates, because people say that there's something to the dates. And, I mean, I definitely felt something happen on 11/11/11, and it's kind of funny because everyone thought it was going to be all, like, angels and harps and, sugar fairies after 11/11. But, what happened is there was a shift, and all the stuff that needs to be enlightened came up into the light. Like, I've never seen a time when, like, so many people are going through a lot of stuff right now.
Yes,
like, a lot of my friends, a lot of my close friends, and just, I've always got my hand on the beat of Facebook, and just kind of watching, and, a lot of people's old stuff is coming up, and and they look at it as a bad thing, but it's such a beautiful thing that it's coming up, because it's coming up to be shifted. It's coming up to be filtered, and I think it's a great thing. I use the opportunity as these things to come up to clean it up, so it doesn't keep coming up. It's coming up to get cleaned up. It's coming up to be filtered.
And what will you do in 2012? Do you have any future plans, or do you go with the flow? Tell us a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going with the flow. That my property is an evolving thing. I don't know. I've put out there that I want a wellness center and a community, and it's just now the right people, I should say, are starting to show up. So I definitely see developing whatever's going to happen on my property, retreats and that kind of stuff. Obviously, more swimming with dolphins and whales. Heck, maybe it'll be the year I meet a man. I don't know.
Maybe you need to kiss a dolphin, and then he will be transformed into a wonderful...
That was another lifetime, sweetheart. I want the human version this time.
You are so fun. Sierra, I have a question, because many people ask this about positive people. And how can you be so positive? How are you so positive all the time? Because you have positive things to say to people. And I know you from Facebook. I know your energy. And I know that you always have a nice thing to say. And if a person is in a tough situation, you are there with them. Because sometimes there are people who are in spirituality. They have different personalities. And they are like, oh, okay, while you are there, I'm not actually telling you anything. And then when you are better, you connect with me. But you are not that. You are not like that. your personality, you enjoy connecting with people. You enjoy to be there for them. That's very human, very heartfelt. So that positivity that you have, how can you maintain it? How do you do?
Well, because, what we talked about earlier, I catch myself. And it's not that I'm always positive. I mean, I have bad days. It's really funny. I write about stuff that happens on Facebook, mostly in notes, and, nobody notices it. Nobody, comments on it or anything. I wrote about, falling off my treadmill and cutting myself, and I wrote about when my propeller came off during a whale tour and, my boat sinking, and, I write about these things, and, no one notices it. It's funny to me. I obviously have bad days. The thing is when I'm mad, I let myself get mad, and I'm over it. In seconds. I could be totally mad at somebody, and then it releases, and I'm, ready to hug and kiss. And not a lot of people do that. It's this lingering thing, and it's got to, and I just feel it. I feel it and let it go. So, go ahead.
Do you think that that's connected with the now moment? Because you are in the now moment. So if you are mad right now, you are mad right now, but that doesn't mean that you are going to be mad in the next moment. And what happens is that sometimes if we are mad for 2 days about something, that really makes us question if we are aware of it. How come? Life is beautiful, the world keeps on spinning, and I'm still mad about something that happened 2 days ago. So these 2 days I was actually hanging on or holding on to a certain emotion. And it seems that, and I know that you just crossed that emotion and then it's gone. Do you think you are able to do that as fast as you do because you feel fully and intensively the emotion, so you are not resisting to any part of it, and then when it's felt, the emotion just goes?
Yeah, because if I resisted it and tried to shove it down, like I used to do with food, or just ignore it and pretend it's not happening and slap a Band-Aid or a happy sticker on it, it's going to come up. It's going to keep coming up. And it's just so much better to feel it, be the observer, go, where's this coming from? What's the core feeling? What's the core belief? And let it go. It works out so much. Huh?
Do you believe in soul's purpose and life's purpose?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I think we come with a general plan, but I nothing is set in stone. And there's that highest good thing going on, and it's all very fluid, and it's always changing, depending on what's going around us too. So, I definitely feel like I came here with a purpose, but that purpose can be expressed in many different ways.
Mhm. And what is your purpose? What do you think?
I think one of my biggest purposes is to reconnect people with nature. Reconnect with themselves, remember who they really are, and to know their divine self, feel inspired, do what you want to do. I think.
And you are an inspiration. Do you have an inspirational book?
I don't have a book. Well, what I just finished today, and I'm so proud, is my screensavers and posters and T-shirts and all that stuff, and you can find them on the Divine Dolphin site in the gift shop. I took all the photos that I've taken over the years, not all of them. I took 88 of my photos from the Dominican Republic and the Bahamas and Costa Rica, and matched my quotes to them. And I've put them all together as a screensaver, and they're also posters and T-shirts and coffee mugs. And I'm really, everyone that's watched it is really blown away because the pictures really capture my connections with dolphins and whales. I mean, some of them were eye to eye, in a lot of the pictures. And a lot of people have told me that, the pictures come alive, they actually see the water moving, and they can feel the energy in the photo.
Oh wow, that's awesome!
So I'm really excited about. I'm really excited about it, and I've been working on it for a while. So it feels good to. I still got to do some more stuff on the shop, but I'll announce it tomorrow or the next day on Facebook probably. But you got the exclusive. I'm announcing it here.
That's awesome. But Sierra, I have to tell you this, and I'm very sure that lots of people who are listening and who know you have questioned this in their minds before. You are so inspirational, and you write things that are so awesome. Have you ever thought about collecting all of them and just put them in a book so people can just read it? I don't know. Today I wake up and I feel like reading Sierra. I feel like
that's kind something. Of it. Eventually, I really want to do a coffee table book with my photos, but really that's what the screensaver is. It's all my quotes from Facebook. And
okay, but also the quotes. I mean the photos, but the quotes.
Yeah, the photos have the quotes on them. So and I set it to random as a screensaver. So really, when your computer goes into rest or whenever your screensaver comes up, it's going to be a random of the 88, and that each photo lasts 33 seconds. So you can sit there and watch the whole thing, or you just do one a day or two a day. So I do have kind of like what you're talking about. Yeah.
I know, but I'm speaking about a book.
You want a book? Okay.
Yes. Do you know why? Because you are a writer. You just don't see it as that. But I know I met you, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, and you write every day, and all that you write is highly appreciated because you have depth. People know what you are talking about. It touches them. It touches their heart. And I know that you are an artist with the photos and the quotes, but I mean, all those quotes that do not have a photo, they are appreciated as well.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I keep them all in a big document called Sierra's FB Quotes. So I have them all, and I'm sure I'll do something with them one of these days.
Yes, because I do think that it would be a success because so many people would appreciate to read them all around the world because you are a magical being. Yes, that's true. I read sometimes the things that you post, and sometimes I go to Facebook for 5 minutes, and I'm like, I don't have much time, but right now I just feel like reading Sierra, and I go to your wall, and I realized why I had that intuition because it was something there. There was something there that I had to read or something. So it's very, very nice. So I advise everyone to check on Facebook these next few days for Sierra's screensaver because I think they will be very, very beautiful. And Sierra, we just have 3 minutes to the end of the show. I would like to ask you, 2 minutes and a half now, I would like to ask you, what is your message to the world? What would you like people who are listening to retain from you in a short time, like some message, some advice, some inspiration? What comes through?
Listen to the show again. No, well, I already said a bunch of stuff, but I'll say, like what I said earlier, really remembering your divine self. When you remember that you're this divine spiritual being having this human experience, don't take everything so seriously. We came here to experience the human experience with joy. It's not supposed to be this big, heavy thing, and let go of all that past stuff. Stop. It's like you're driving along the freeway, always looking in the rearview mirror. Instead of you run into a lot less stuff if you look forward, stay in the now, and just embrace your divinity and be authentic. We haven't really talked much about authenticity today. But, that's something I've really worked on in the past year, really to get rid of all those incongruencies that I had, saying one thing and doing another. Be your authentic self. Stop caring about what other people think and shine your true, authentic light in the world. You have unique qualities that are desired by the rest of the world. Everybody does. So
that's beautiful.
Wow.
That's beautiful. And you mentioned something that is true. We haven't spoken about authenticity today and the meaning, the feeling, the thoughts about it. And there is some confusion in the world sometimes about what means to be authentic. So I'm going to invite you to a next show, and we can speak about authenticity all the time. Because that's one of my favorite subjects. I do think there are lots of things going on with it, and I know that you know what you are talking about. Today the show was just 1 hour, and I thank you for being here very much. You are an inspirational person and an awesome person. Sierra, I love you, and you will be here again.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thanks for inviting me. This was great.
Sierra, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Happy holidays.